Well, hello, YouTube. Looks like I'm live on Federal Prison Talk. Got a live show tonight, and I invited a few guests, guys I did time with, a couple guys from other YouTube channels, Harvey Talks Prison and RDAP Dan and Walt Pablo. I don't know if any of them are going to make it. I just sent them an email about an hour ago. Jonathan, who just got out of the halfway house, he's been on this channel. He says he's coming on. So I sent out a bunch of invitations. It could just be me, guys. I don't know. We're going to see how it goes. Looks like there's a couple people in the room. And I just need to do a video. I don't know what it's been, 5 days. You know, 5 days on YouTube without a video could be a long time. So I got to keep the channel up. You know what I mean? I've been getting so. First of all, here's the latest prison news. It looks like the national lockdown has been lifted. I'll share a little. I found a little news clip. Let me show you that real quick, and we'll see what's going on with that. Pull it up here. And the Bureau of Prison starts to lift a nationwide lockdown. Let's see how this is showing up on here. Yeah, so it says the Federal Bureau of Prisons announced Monday that it was ending the nationwide lockdown of its facilities, gradually easing the restrictions at sites where officials determined there was no longer a threat. In a statement, the Bureau said it had decided to return select facilities to the appropriate modified operational status as part of a tiered response that would lift restrictions elsewhere as officials decided it was safe to do so. An official familiar with the matter said about 30 facilities would come out of lockdown at first, though the number was expected to shift. So that's the good news for anybody that's got loved ones in prison. And as far as I know, I got a call from a couple of camps. The camps didn't even go in lockdown. It's just what I thought. They made the campers go over there and make bologna sandwiches and do their laundry, mop their floors, and empty their trash. Campers rarely go in lockdown because the campers are like the slave labor for the higher upper camps. It looks like there's a few people in the room. Patricia, Katrina, Wayne's old friend. Let's see what you guys got to say here. Patricia says, hey, so the Lompoc camp is off lockdown. Made me so happy I wanted to share. Yeah, Lompoc is free. They're locked down. I didn't think it was going to last that long. The BOP is in a lot of trouble for the First Step Back for not giving people all their earned time credits, although now they're starting to do that. And Jonathan just told me he just heard from a guy who got 4 months. He had 4 months to go. They called him in the office yesterday and sent him home today. People are getting released. And I guess the BOP, we put them on lockdown. We'll shift the news cycle over to that, and won't concentrate on us not doing our job for the First Step Back. But, welcome to the world of politics, guys. Here's Katrina says, hi, Patricia. Happy for you. Hope my son gets moved tomorrow. Tomorrow would be nice, huh, Katrina? But Wayne's old friend, Patricia, do you know inmates staying at the Lompoc camp? And she says, I do. My husband. So Lompoc's not a bad place, I hear. They got a camp, low, a medium, lots of farms and dairy, and when all their projects are running, they have agriculture and horticulture and, different programs and stuff, and your time can pass by pretty quickly. But Lompoc Camp does not have RDAP. Lompoc Low does have it, and I believe the medium has it. I think there's all three there. I don't know if they have a penitentiary. They might even have a penitentiary. Lompoc's by Santa Barbara, and it's a pretty big complex facility, so I hear. Yeah. So I'm hoping one of these guys I invited comes on the show. And tonight we were just going to tell you guys some stories about what really goes on in prison, and I might share you guys a couple. And I can only speak for what goes on in the camps. If you want to find out what goes on in a federal penitentiary, You could go to Larry Lawton or Fresh Out or 23 and 1. All those guys did the hard time. But in a camp, guys, we don't have fences. So we don't need guards to sneak anything in for us. You just put an order in, and in a couple nights, there'll be a duffel bag on the side of the road. They pay somebody $500 to go out and bring that duffel bag in. And it's full of cigarettes and alcohol and, probably some drugs. Cell phones are a big thing. And it all gets snuck in, and all the guards know. And it's a big game they play, and you get caught with a cell phone in any level of prison. You're going to the shoe, you're losing your good time, and, you're going to go to the next higher up prison. So please don't play with the cell phones. If you got, like Patricia, if your husband calls you on a cell phone, tell him to sell that phone, get rid of it, because he's going to lose all his good time, and he won't be, calling you for quite a while. Let's see. Patricia says, what does that mean? I'm not sure what does that mean. What was the question? RDAP is a residential drug abuse program to get released earlier on home confinement. If that's not available, what happens? If it's not available, you do your time. Most of the camps and lows have RDAP reinstated, but they don't do it like they used to do. They kind of do it in smaller rooms. They do it in the unit. The mediums have RDAP. Penitentiaries do not have RDAP. They have a similar drug program, and I don't know if they get any time off for it. But with the RDAP, if you're doing 3 years or more, you get a year off your sentence. If you're doing 2 years, you get 6 months off, and then it goes 6, 9, and 12. Between 2 and 3 years of your sentence. So like I said, if you got a 3-year sentence, you get a year off. Patricia says, oh, heck, no, he better not, because I'll hang up and he can figure it out. We are a team, and that would screw me over too. Good. They give away 510 free minutes on the phone. Maybe that's not enough for some guys, but that's like at least a 10-minute call every day. Somebody did the math. I think it's one 15-minute call every day home. That's one person a day. But, you could spread it out to 10 minutes and call 2 people, and that's enough time, man. Really, what do you need the cell phone for? But, you'd be surprised. People just don't want to give it up. Wayne's old friend. Patricia, how does your husband rate Lompoc? Are there fences at Lompoc? Asking for a relative. Yeah, I heard Lompoc, Wayne, they make you work. You're going to pick produce and pick vegetables and, do farming and agriculture, or you work on the dairy, and there's it's long, hot days. In the summer, it's really hot out there. And, so you're going to be working like Cesar Chavez out in the fields all day. You get certificates, and they teach agriculture and horticulture and all that. But it's hard work, but time goes by, and you make some money. I believe it's part of the prison industries. I think they pay you $200 a month. They used to. I'm not sure if they do. Trisha says, he said it's not bad. It does have barbed wire around the camp, but that's like a college, but in prison. Yeah, there are a few camps that have some fences, and I think maybe they used to be lows. They turned them into camps. I don't know why. There are a few camps that have fences. By law, they're not supposed to have a fence because you're considered an out-of-custody inmate, whatever that means. Katrina says, marshals only come there on Wednesdays. All right. Marshals go there on marshals? Why would a marshal go into a prison? I didn't think they were allowed. Yes, a lot of agriculture. Yep. So Josh just turned himself in. Today's Tuesday. Yesterday, turned himself into Florence. And his wife called me up. Well, she left a text, and then I called her back, and I told his wife, I'm here to help you. Where I work, guys, I work for Wings for Life. We help families. So, Patricia, if your husband is in prison and you need somebody to talk to, some services, some housing, some clothing, some food, something for your kids, Wings for Life. You see this little sign here. Just Google. I don't have the number handy, but maybe I do. I'll pull out the number for you. You give us a call, even though we're in Albuquerque, Patricia. We help people anywhere, and I got a card here. Wings for Life. Well, you're not going to be able to see that. I'm going to put the phone number up here, Patricia, and you can call us anytime, Monday through Friday. And anybody who answers will be glad to help you out, Patricia, with anything we can do to help you get through this. Okay? I'm typing it in now. That's the number. So you see it came up there, Wings for Life. So, Patricia, you just give us a call. We can help you through this until he gets out. And then when he does get out, we can help him maybe get a car. We got some auto dealers nationwide. I don't know where you live at, Patricia, but we're in Albuquerque, but it's Wings for Life International. So we got some connections in other cities and other states. And anyways, you give us a call, Patricia, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and we will help you get through this, okay? It's never a charge. We don't charge anything, okay? Oh, TJ is in the room with a super sticker. TJ, you're the man. God bless you, TJ. I love you. I know you're waiting to get sentenced and waiting for all this, TJ. When you do get sentenced, TJ, we're going to be in touch, and you can email me and all that stuff. And those 500 free minutes a month you get, I hope you call me, give spare 5 minutes and call me once in a while. When you're not even sentenced yet. I know, TJ, but God bless you for the super stickers, man. Trisha, I always come on here because I get very lonely, although I know he's still here from far away. I definitely reach out. My depression gets too tough to handle every day of life. Patricia, I feel for you. When we go to prison, I say we, I mean me and guys like me who go to prison, the family goes to prison too. You're in your own prison world. Your whole life, everything, your world is just disrupted. And, when we go to prison, we do it to you. And a lot of guys can't admit that. I'm innocent. It's not my fault, blah, 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 blah. No, you made those choices, decisions, whatever. You did this to your family. When you went to prison, when you switched that 6 to a 4 on that paperwork, or you decided to put that extra package on your truck and drive to Ohio and drop something off for $5,000, but I was going to use the money for my family. Whatever little crime you did, you made that decision to do it. You knew it was wrong, and you did it anyways, and you put your family's life, in jeopardy, on hold. You ruined your family's life. You did this to your family. And it takes a big man to admit that, Patricia, but, I did it to my family. Your husband did it to you. He may not be that ready to admit that yet, but that's what we do, and the family suffer. So I work for this Wings for Life, and you give us a call, Patricia. The number's up there. It's in the comment room, and if you can't see it, I'll show you here. Here's the number where I work, guys, but it might not be me who answers the phone, but I don't know. Today there was 9 people in the office. We had like 4 interns and 5 employees, and anybody who answers, be glad to just say you got the number from Sean, and your son's in prison, your husband's in prison, whatever the deal is, and we'll help you. We'll get you through this, okay? And we don't ask for no money. We don't want any money, anything. Don't worry. There's donations that come in to help people like you. So, Patricia, you don't have to be alone through this process, and you don't have to pay any money, okay? We're there to help. So let me see where I'm at here. TJ, yeah. Still waiting at sense, Sean. I know, TJ. These feds are slow, man. Patricia says, I thank you so much, Sean. God bless you guys so much. I'm in California, and I'll spread the word to my husband so if he knows guys in there, he can let them know too. And I just came from California, Patricia, so I know what you're going with you, man. I know. When does he get out, Patricia? Do you know? Does he have an out date yet? And Katrina says, U.S. Marshals to transport inmates. Katrina's waiting for her son to get transported to a camp. And it's just, I feel like I'm in solitude without family, and having you guys help us so much. Just having the company feels so much better. I'm glad I could be of service to you, Patricia, tonight. I know you're sitting at home. Your husband's not there. Hopefully he was there. I don't know what your marriage was like. but I'm sure it's not now that he's in prison. It's no matter what it was. I know you wish he was there with you tonight, and he's there in spirit. I don't know how often he calls you or emails you and all that, but like Patricia, you're not alone. There's a lot of women like you and husbands like you watching my channel right now that are going through exactly what you're going through, Patricia. I mean, Katrina's one of them. She misses her son so much. I know she misses her son. And she does everything she can to call him, to write him, to help him. And she's waiting for him to come home. So you guys don't give up on your loved ones. They're not giving up on you, I'll tell you that. Speaking from a guy that's been in prison, and I didn't have a wife. I had a girlfriend, but the feds split us up and wouldn't let us talk. And you know what? She was my fiance, but they did me a favor because, I mean, I not even 6 months through my pre-trial, she met another guy. So they did me a favor. But I know what it's like. I know what it's like to miss someone and they're off to prison, and I just know what you're going through, and it's not the same. And so I mean, I totally feel for you. TJ says my lawyer told me it looks good that it's been 2 years and haven't gotten in any trouble. She said it will help during sentencing. Yeah, I mean, there's a little truth to that. If you get indicted and sentenced and all this right away, and you do it all within 6 months, they're ready to pound you in, give you a big sentence. The longer it waits, are you going to get less time? I think you get a little less time. I think there's some truth to that. I do. Tisha says, I will be happy to talk and listen. All right. Or Katrina says, Patricia, she'll be happy to talk and listen. He is always working or home, so it's a big change and adjusting is very hard. Luckily, he will be out next year in February. Stay strong, Katrina. Yeah, you women, stay strong, okay? Stay strong. Now, I know guys miss their wives in prison so much. So I've talked about my cellie. He had to do 8 years, and he got out in 5, but because he took RDAP and stuff. In 5 years, most guys, their wife's not waiting for them that long. I'm sorry, they just don't wait that long. But he worked so hard to keep his marriage. I mean, he wrote her letters, he called her, he emailed her every single day, and she didn't get tired of it. And she came out to visit him lots of times and as much as she could. And, every time he called her, he told her he loved her. Every time he emailed her, he told her he loved her. And he didn't try to run the household from the jail phone. He did the right thing, and his wife was there, and they're still married today. He's been out a couple of years like me, and his marriage is slowly getting back together. But when we come home from prison, you wives have had to take other roles. You've had, now you're the breadwinner, you're the father, you're the enabler, the caretaker. All these roles that your husband may have played, and now you have to do all those roles yourself. Be the breadwinner and everything else, and it's really hard on the women. It's hard. There's men who lose their wives to go to prison, and it's the same thing, and they're stuck with the kids. And men don't know how to, go to work 5 days a week and then come home and be a housewife too. It's hard on men, and so a lot of times the men and the women, they give up on their people in prison, and they find somebody else to take their place. It just happens. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen for you, Patricia. You're waiting for him, and Katrina's waiting for her son. Patricia says, "Oh, here's my Jonathan. Let me going to happen for you. Room. I'm sorry. I don't know how long you've been waiting, Jonathan. You there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. I've been reading comments. I'm getting live answers. So everybody, this is Jonathan Nguyen, and Jonathan has been on my channel a few times before he went to prison. And then he got out, and he was on here, and he's out of the halfway house now, and he's on the road to freedom. And I can't see your picture, Jonathan. What's up with your camera?
Oh, just gotta adjust the setting.
Okay. So you guys, if you have some questions, Jonathan just got out of the halfway house, and he's on the East Coast. And he did 1 year and a day. And I don't want to tell them how much halfway house time you got, Jonathan, because they're going to be mad. But you can tell them.
What are you talking about?
How much halfway house time did they give you?
I mean, I got 25%.
Yeah, most people don't get what you got.
That is very uncommon.
Yeah. Do you know why you got so much half? How many months halfway house did you get on a year and a day sentence?
Like almost 3 months.
Oh, well, you're not the one to 3 months. There's somebody who got 7 months. Okay, that wasn't you. All right, that's not too bad. 3 months. So, but you got through it, man, and here you are.
Yeah.
So, if you guys got some questions for Jonathan, and let me just finish up some of these comments, Jonathan. Patricia says, I can't imagine that long. He's my soulmate. Holding him down. Jonathan, I was telling these people, these ladies, now you've done time with guys. I'm going to say the average time that if a guy's doing a 5-year sentence, the chances are that his wife will not be there when he gets out of prison. She's found somebody else. Do you agree or disagree?
Sorry, can you say that again?
If a guy's doing a 5-year sentence or more, will his wife be there after 5 years for him?
So I actually worked with someone at the restaurant I used to work with, and he did 10 years, and his wife was still with him. So I
Wow.
mean,
I know it happens, but on average, what would you say?
to be honest, there was a few guys whose wives did leave them during visit, like their wives came in during visitation to tell them that they were filing for a divorce at camp. So that was a little bit unfortunate.
Looks like you got a couple questions, John. First one, how did it work out for you? Patricia asks.
I mean, I think it worked out pretty well for me. Generally, the 7 months kind of went by, and then I was at a halfway house for 3 months. Honestly, the conditions in that halfway house are like 5 times worse than it was at a camp. But you have access to the community. There's like 100 times more rules in the halfway house than there are in the camp. The halfway house was tougher than the camp, 110%. Because people from camps do not, like, generally the rule is that people from camps do not get sent to halfway houses. And at the halfway house, there was a lot of resistance. Like, everyone recommended that I not get sent, like recommended that I decline halfway house time because of how strict the halfway house is. And this is because halfway houses take inmates that come from maximum security prisons and like medium security prisons. They take all the way down to camps. But the majority of people in the halfway house, I would say like 95% of people in the halfway house are either coming from a sex offender prison or a maximum security prison. And I was the only one there from a camp. So it was definitely, and they were all like super, super strict. And the reason is because they just can't, like, there's no trust between like the people at the halfway house and the staff. There can't be any trust because of the settings that they're used to. They're very institutionalized. They're like, I've seen 3 or 4 inmates at the halfway house get sent back, and 2 of them got sent back for threatening the staff. So it's definitely really tough there.
I saw a lot of guys get kicked out of the halfway house too, and there was a couple guys from camps, but most of them were from penitentiaries. There was 2 guys. There was one guy who did 47 years in prison, and another guy who did 42 years because they used to talk to each other. Well, I got 5 years on you, but I mean, and these guys had a hard time. I mean, 47 years in prison. I mean, there was, let alone talk about no computers or cell phones or internet. I mean, these guys grew up in prison, so it was tough on them. And I saw guys just get violated, come back drunk, come back high, sneak booze in, drugs in, not come back from their job. Every day, somebody was getting kicked out of my halfway house. We had over 300 people in my halfway house. How big was your halfway house?
So mine had like it was a men and women's halfway house. So there was women on one floor and then men on another floor. Sorry.
You got a question, John? It says what Wayne asked. So I guess you just answered. But Patricia says, where were you incarcerated and what for? What did you take from this? And how was your process during your transition? Boy, that's a lot. That's a lot of questions.
So I was incarcerated at Devon's camp in Mass, the same
Massachusetts, right? Because people in California, they might not know what Mass means.
People famously know that prison for that's where Anthony Weiner went. He went to the main he went to the he went to the main facility, not the camp.
Yeah, Tuesday is hot dog night, so I guess that was his favorite night. Get it, Anthony Weiner, hot dog night? All right, forget it. Bad joke. Bad joke.
And I was incarcerated for wire fraud. I stole money from people that I shouldn't have. And I did use it to live. I did use it to afford things that I would have otherwise not been able to afford, mainly travel. And what did I take from this? During the time that I was engaged in the activity, it kind of snowballed and one thing became another. And it was just kind of a hard life to get out of. And I was kind of relieved when it did all end. And I am in the groove now of, like, after getting released, I found a viable job. A new career that I'm happy with. And life is a lot more fulfilling. Making money legally, and
you're doing restaurant work now, and I know it's tough, and you've been working the line. And me and Jonathan talk a lot, guys, and he went from his lifestyle then to, I mean, you were even working at McDonald's before you went to on free trial, right?
Yeah, actually, I was a corporate accounts manager before working at McDonald's, but during pre-trial when the whole thing happened, I actually got a job managing at McDonald's for 8 or 9 months. And I worked at Burger King at the same time as well. I was juggling 2 jobs. And through that, I got to know what it's like to, work 2 jobs, 70, 80 hours a week, and appreciate the value of hard work. I certainly had to pay a lot of legal bills. So a lot of money went towards that. But I gained a whole new respect for hard work, and I can say that confidently that I don't think I'm going to be going back.
I don't think you are either. I've been talking to you. You're adjusting pretty well, other than the mind stuff that we go through. Wayne's old friend's got a question for you. He says, "So do you suggest campers avoid halfway house time and stay in camp an extra 3 months to avoid halfway house conflicts? Plus, halfway house takes 25% of your income." Now, Jonathan, I just heard they stopped taking the income because of the pandemic. Is that true?
Yeah. So the BOP issued a memorandum. During the whole course of the pandemic, they're not asking for 25% of income. They're waiving that. So you get to keep 100% of what you make.
So now they don't have a problem sending it to home confinement, because before, if they did that, they lose that 25%. So now guys are just going straight to home confinement from the halfway house, right?
A lot of them are, yes. Generally, they send you to the halfway house if they deem that you really need halfway house time. And generally, the rule is they can't send you to home confinement for more than 10% of your sentence, unless you factor in First Step Back credits. but they can send you to a halfway house for like pretty much an unlimited amount of time. They could send you to a halfway house for whatever amount of time they want. It's not in the guidelines for a specific percentage.
Yeah.
So that's why I was able to do halfway house for 25% of my time.
To say Patricia's, I hope 7 months to my 8 my husband can come home on home confinement. Yeah. So from what I know about home confinement, John, I didn't have the luxury because I didn't have a home. But they'll call you at 3 a.m. They'll stop by. They get an ankle bracelet. You can violate pretty easy on home confinement, right?
They monitor your ankle bracelet on home confinement every single day, and like I've seen people at the halfway house who were sent to home confinement and got violated for going to Dunkin' Donuts when they weren't allowed to while they were in home confinement. They literally stopped Dunkin' Donuts, and that was a violation.
Yeah, I know a guy. He went to work. He's on home confinement. He goes to work, and he needed gas in his car. He stopped for gas and filled up his car or whatever, and then went home. And somehow they found out he stopped at that gas station without permission, went off the highway, and that was a violation. And they sent him back. They didn't send him back to the camp, to the prison, but they sent him back to the halfway house because he stopped for gas.
Yeah, they really have no, like, at the halfway house, you don't get the benefit of the doubt. Like, they're more inclined to automatically assume that you're guilty and that you did it. At the camp, they're more inclined to give you the benefit of the doubt. Because you're minimum security. It's like at the halfway house, it's like you're like very much mistrusted, and you're like you're like high security in a low security environment.
Yeah, you're still. A lot of people don't know when you're halfway house or home confinement, you're still an inmate. You're still in custody. Like, they're just letting you finish your time out there, but you're still an inmate, man.
Like, halfway houses have very, very dangerous people, and the majority of people in the halfway house like haven't learned. Like there are literally people in the halfway house like running like drug rings at the halfway house. Like,
oh no, I've seen it. And the child molesters.
I've seen so many people at the halfway house literally get there, and as soon as they like get phone privileges, they're on their phone like trying to sell drugs, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna get this money." Like that's like what's in their head. Like, they're very, very bad people at the halfway house.
I mean, they're not campers. They're thugs from the penitentiary, and man, I know. I seen it all. I mean, I was in San Francisco in the worst part of town, at Tenderloin, and guys see them on their phone. They're making drug deals on the phone. What are you, crazy? What are you, stupid, dude? But they're
it's like deeply ingrained. Like, it's really hard to fix, and halfway houses don't really provide the resources that they should to people trying to re-enter society. So there was this coworker that I've worked with in one of the restaurants that I was with, and he was our dishwasher, and he came from the halfway house, and he was the best dishwasher, I've been told, the best dishwasher that the restaurant has ever had, and he works really hard, but he just kept getting in trouble, and he eventually got sent back to prison over several violations. One, a failed drug test. Two, escaping. Like, he was at work and then he left work without telling anyone and just left and disappeared for like 8 hours. And then another failed drug test, and then alcohol. And then they finally sent it back. And it's just their way of thinking just has to change.
Yeah, he's lucky he got that many chances. A lot of guys don't.
Yeah.
So let me see. Knowledge says, "What's up, guys? I'm watching from work in Connect. I can't read that. Kankakee, Illinois. Do you know how to say that, Jonathan?
No.
Kankakee, Illinois. Anyways, what's up, man? And here's somebody making spam. And Wayne says, John or Sean, is pretrial supervised release or post-sentence supervised release tougher? I'm assuming post-sentence release because you have to deal with restitution.
Well, I don't have to.
Yeah, I mean it depends. You go ahead, John.
I mean, so I would say honestly, it's kind of the same. But it really depends on the restrictions that the judge places on your. It's like different for everyone. So, for example, some people can't drink on their post-release supervised release or their pretrial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Some people
for
can't.
me, I couldn't do either one. My pretrial lady was tough. She'd show up at my house or call me, and I got to go pee in the cup. But I had a little drug history, guys. And I'm off 6 years now. But yeah, I had a little drug history of getting caught with a half gram of cocaine and all this stuff in my 20s. So they were really strict with me on pretrial. Probation was a little less strict, believe it or not, but they still show up with that. It's all about peeing in that cup. My life for 10 years, guys, has been peeing in a cup. That's all they care about. Sean, how you doing? Can you pee in the cup? We need it filled halfway. And once I do that for them, then they're nice to me. But that's been my life. It's all about a cup.
This might be the case for others. I am not trying to brag here. I am.
Go ahead, brag, man.
I'm exempt from all drug and alcohol
So
testing.
you're the other extent. I mean, your probation officer told you to go out and have some drinks. Remember, you were telling me.
I told her, she was like, "Oh, you go out and make some friends." And I sit at the bar after work at the restaurant, talking with my coworkers, having a good time. She didn't say, go out and have drinks, but she encouraged me to go out and make some friends. But I'm allowed to drink within moderation. Of course, I don't go out and get wasted and do stupid shit. But you get what I mean.
Yeah, no. See, I mean, and that's some guys have that. They can drink, but not too extreme. Is that how they word
They
it?
use I think the court uses the term.
Not to excess. Not to excess.
Not to excess. Yes, I think
whatever that could mean. Excess, is that a 6-pack? Is that one beer? Is that a glass of wine? Or is that, can I finish the whole bottle? I mean, what does that mean?
I think it means basically don't drink to the point where it impairs your ability to if you're going out to the street and you're doing stupid shit like knocking things over and drinking and driving and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So speaking of drinking in prison, my camp had a lot of alcohol. How about yours? Let's tell some stories, man. Let's talk some stories.
On my first night at the camp, I was offered a drink, which I declined because I didn't want to risk getting sent to the main facility on my first day. There's definitely alcohol at camps. I've personally never indulged, but there is.
I got offered alcohol quite a lot, but I was going to the RDAP program, and but I remember on New Year's Eve they had those. Everybody, when you go to the med call, and they let you keep your prescription bottles. If you like, a lot of guys get to keep their prescriptions in their locker, so they would fill those up. And I remember the first New Year's Eve there, they had extra poker tables up in the lobby in the foyer of the building we stayed at, and guys set up bars. And one guy had a bottle of Patron, gin, vodka, and Jack Daniels. He had 4 bottles, and he had the real bottles sitting there, and it was $8 a shot. And it was New Year's, and there was lookouts and everything because you know how in camps you only got one guard watching the whole camp, but they had lookouts. And this guy had a bar set up, and then a guy downstairs had a bar set up, and then another guy at the end of the ring had a bar set up in his cubicle. So we had 3 bars going, and it was $8 for a shot of Patron. And I remember going, I don't even know a bar where I could buy Patron for $8 a shot. That's pretty cheap. You know what I mean? And these guys were just drinking all night long and playing poker and smoking cigarettes, and you could smell weed in the air. And on that New Year's Eve, I didn't even think I was in prison. It was that crazy. And I only spent 2 New Year's Eves there. I did like 3 years there. 2 New Year's Eves, and the next New Year's Eve it was the same way. They never got raided. Nobody got caught. No guards came through. It was crazy, man. What was New Year's like for you at your camp?
I was there from the beginning of February to the beginning of September. So
You didn't see New Year's.
I didn't get to see any major holidays other than the 4th of July.
Well, in the camps, Christmas time, the holidays, there's a lot of extra bags at the side of the road for people to pick up, and they're full of alcohol bottles. A lot of drinking goes on. And I even hear in the mediums and the penitentiaries, they don't have the luxury like at a camp, so they got to make their own. But they start making that stuff in October, getting ready for New Year's.
There's no such thing as prison wine at camps. That's not even a thing.
No, because you just buy it from the store. I mean,
they're literally they're not worried. This is how much they're not worried about prison wine. Campers can get sugar. Like they'll give you sugar.
Yeah, you order it on commissary. Yeah.
Because they're not worried about people making prison wine. Like we're too good for that.
We get the good stuff. Yeah. No, it says I am recovering everything, and I could be wrong. I'm often told that I am, but I believe culture and the people that surround you are key to recovery and staying clean. Yeah, I'd say that's true. So, I did AA meetings when I was in prison, and I had a group of guys around me, and trust me, there was a couple times I wanted to go. I had the $8 to buy that shot of Patron, and my buddies were there, and they were looking at me, and they talked me out of it, and I didn't have to do that, but so whoever you could surround yourself with good people in prison. Did you have good people that you hung out with in prison, John?
I mean, so the thing is, you kind of got to make peace with everyone, because, like, if someone really doesn't like you, like, they could ruin your whole time there. Like anyone who doesn't like you.
The haters gotta hate, man.
Like even if you don't like someone, I would just put on like a smile and just not really try to befriend everyone, but like not try to get anyone to not. I'll give you a prime example. When they do random searches of cubes, like there are no locked doors, there are no like cells. There's like cubicles, right? If someone doesn't like you, they could get contraband like a phone, alcohol, cigarettes, and they could throw it in your cube.
Put it under your pillow or something, right?
And then the next time they do a search, they find that, and they're just gonna like, there goes your good time. There goes all of your like that's like extra time that you have to stay in prison because they framed you.
And you're not gonna say, "Oh, John must have put that under my bed," because you don't snitch in prison, So you do it, right?
And even if you did, that wouldn't get you anywhere.
It was not going to help you. Yeah, it's under your pillow, buddy. You're responsible for that. That's how they're going to look at it.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are people that I did surround myself with that I felt were good people. I mean, like there were, there were a couple of doctors there, a couple of lawyers, a couple, business people who had a ton of money that I tried to extract the good stuff out of, but free education, right?
Yeah, no, I had some friends that were doctors and lawyers, and one guy was a heart surgeon. He lives here in town, and I've just talked to him recently, and he was in the band I was at. So, I had a rock band there. Did you guys have a music room at your camp?
They took it away.
They took it away? Oh, that's because of the COVID and stuff.
No, they actually took it away because people were hiding contraband in the room.
Oh, we had a piano and they found all kinds of stuff hidden in this piano. So yeah, they took the piano away.
Like they would actually go in and they would tear the whole camp apart like constantly. Like they would rip open walls. They would rip open beds. They would like literally destroy the camp. and they called like a what is it called, like a town hall where like it was the administrators from the main facility and all the inmates, and they basically told us, if you want us to like stop tearing apart where you live, you have to stop bringing in contraband. So like, I think it really varies per prison.
You think? I mean,
But like different prisons handle it different ways. But mine,
ours would take the weights away. We had weight pile, and they would take that away, and that really pissed everybody off.
So like, it's just every prison handles it differently, but they don't generally they don't tolerate things being brought in, especially phones. Mine was very big on phones. It was like the biggest like no.
Yeah, mine too. I think they're all like that with the phones. They consider that that's a threat to their security. You know,
having a phone in prison is as bad as having a gun. Like
yeah. They don't, zero tolerance for phones. Yeah, I mean, some guards will look the other way at my camp if you're smoking cigarettes, and some of them will look the other way, or they'll make you pull weeds. There was one guy made us do push-ups, another guy make you clean the bathroom. But when it came to cell phones, they never.
They love making campers pull weeds like that. That's like their thing, you know. Like so, the regional office for the BOP was coming to visit, in the main facility, and I think like the administration was like, oh, we got to get all these weeds out of the front entrance, and so, but we can't make staff do that. Oh, who can we make do that? We can make campers do that. So they literally had like a freaking car full of campers get driven all the way to the main facility, and we spent hours literally picking weeds in front of the prison administration building for hours in the hot sun, like hours just picking weeds. I'm like, we're like slaves here.
Yeah, we're slaves. See, we're out of custody, so we can go to the side of the road and pull the weeds or wherever. You know what I mean? They choose. Here's a question for you, John. Did any campers give you problems because they were jealous that your sentence was too short?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I like that.
I was in the prison kitchen, and I was the bitch. Like literally, like I was the kitchen.
That's right. They had you scraping trays like nobody's business, huh?
Like literally, the cooks would like drop shit and be like, "Yeah, John, like your job is to pick up all the shit that other people drop." So like the cooks would be like dropping like things on the floor as they're like cutting tomatoes or onions or whatever shit, and I would like literally just bend over. Like my job was just to like pick up after them, like and do like I would have to scrub pipes, clean walls, freaking like kiss people's feet. Like not really, but like, do you know what I mean?
You're going home in less than a year. They're all like, we're gonna work you while you're here. Yeah, I know.
The longer your sentence is, like the more respect that people will give you.
I agree. I totally agree.
And the as well as the staff, the longer sentence is, the more likely you are to get a good job, because they want people like trained in those positions.
Yeah, they want a guy that's gonna learn the job and do it good and stay for a while. They don't want to keep retraining people every 3 months. Yeah.
So even though I have a food service background, I've worked in restaurants. They would have never given me the cook job because I was going to be gone. Like they wouldn't, like, why would they want a cook that's only going to be there for like a few months? They assign cooks who had 5+ year sentences. Like the ideal person to give that kind of job to is someone who's going to be there for like 10 years. Yeah. Which at the time when I left, the guy who was the main cook did have a 10-year sentence. And like the staff were so happy. They're like, yes, we got a 10-year to be the cook.
Now they can, after he's trained, they can just kind of, just kick back and watch. And so, you know what? I copped an attitude with guys with short sentence too. Today I don't think I'd do this, but I always had a care package ready. I had a coffee mug, coffee. I had shower shoes. toothpaste, toothbrush, shampoo, and a Snickers bar or something. And you had 2 or 3 of them ready. So when a new guy came in, I would introduce myself and I would give him this care package. But one guy this day, this new guy comes in, and he was from California. So when a guy's from the state, that even means more. But so I say hi and I'm talking to him and all this, and they go, I got a care. Let me hold on. I got to give you a care package. And I come back with it, and I was just about to give it to him, and I go, so how long you got to do here? And he goes, 6. I go, 6 years? And he goes, no, 6 months. I go, 6 months? I didn't even never heard of that. 6 months. Apparently, he had a DUI. He was driving drunk in a government forest. So I took my care package back, man. I didn't give it to him, and I didn't even talk to him the rest of the time, man.
And
I don't know if that's terrible or not, but I'm not gonna waste it on this guy,
And at my camp, everyone got a care package. Since we had such a small camp, it was always less than 60 inmates. Every inmate that came in, got a care package. It's usually the obligation of that person's home state or race to give them a care package. But if it's there were pretty much no other Asians where I was at, so I got a care package from everyone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
here's a question. When you're done, you see that question there, John?
Yes, you do.
If I'm going to say the answer is no. You never really talk about what your crime was, but sometimes you'll say how long you got to do. But you'll
always find out. If you don't tell them, one of the staff members will leak it to them. It's not it will always come out. They will know. And in fact, they'll just look you up if you don't tell. Someone with a phone will just look you up.
Plus, don't they put a call sheet up eventually when your outdates, your release date? They have a call
sheet out before you even arrive with your name on it.
Yeah,
so they know you're coming before you come.
Right, and then there's a certain call sheet that has your release date, right? It comes out whenever it comes out.
Doesn't we didn't have that.
We did that because they're waiting for their new release date. Let's see. Here's another question. Even the CO will sabotage you. Oh yeah.
No one, unless you're a sex offender, no. I've never.
But they don't allow sex offenders in camps unless they change their
rules. No, they don't allow sex offenders in camps. I've never seen a CO sabotage anyone.
Yeah, Patricia's asking how long were you in the camp?
7 months.
7 months, yeah. And my husband got a care package the moment he went into camp. Camps do that. Now, if you guys are going to a penitentiary or a medium, I'd be really careful about accepting a care package. You know what I mean, John?
The care package means meet me in the bathroom or come to
me. I own you. You're my bitch. Yeah. You're going to return that favor. But we don't. It's not like that in the camp, man. We're just paying it forward.
Anything above a camp where you get a care package is an automatic red flag. Yeah, for sure. That's always been a camp tradition. I don't know why, but it's a camp thing.
Katrina says, "Great. By the time my son gets there, he'll have 9 months or less, but he has done 5 years." Yeah. So her son got resentenced, and he's now at a detention center waiting to get sent to a camp.
I would rush to get First Step Back credits.
Yeah, she knows that, but he's got to get into the camp first. Do you know at detention centers, do they give you halfway house time? Let's say you've been sentenced and you're at the detention center.
Detention centers, I feel are mainly holding facilities.
Yeah, but some guys, they get sentenced and now they're waiting for the bus to pick them up. But her son's been, I think it's going on 2 months. No buses come to pick him up.
For example, MDC Brooklyn is a detention center, and it's the worst prison. It's the worst federal prison in the U.S. It's got also detention centers have so many problems that I want to say it's not hopeless, but they just have so many problems. Getting people out are like the least of their concerns. Like the case managers, instead of doing their jobs as case managers, would have their hands full doing CO duties instead of being case managers. That's how bad like detention centers are.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now it's so bad they're understaffed. They got the nurses and the general practitioners and the the dining room staff doubling as COs. Because they're short staffed. Nobody wants to work overtime, and the overtime's these guys are calling in sick. They can't handle the overtime, and they're just with the pandemic and the short staffness, it's crazy now at these camps and all over.
Like it's not that bad being a CO in a camp. Like I've known a couple COs that also went to school at the same time, and they were literally sitting in the office doing classes. So like,
at a camp, they know they're going home at the end of the shift. If they go to the penitentiary, they don't know if they're really going home.
Yeah.
At a camp, they know they're going home. So they got to be digging that.
They're chilling. Like at the camp, the COs would even freaking like their favorite place to hang out was the kitchen. They always stop by to the kitchen and ask for food. They would have freaking food brought to them.
Yeah, I know. But the CEOs at my camp, they came right in the chow lane. Of course, they cut the line, but a hamburger day and a hot dog day and
they love chicken day. They would all show up for chicken day.
Yeah, chicken day. Oh yeah.
There were CEOs from the main facility who like never worked in the camp. Right? They have nothing to do with the camp, but they call the camp camp food services, and they're like, "Hey, can you have like next time in the next batch of inmates that are gonna be sent to the main facility for work, can you have them send over 5 trays?" And we literally have to make trays for COs at the main facility, and it's like a thing, because they loved our food apparently, or they just love free food. One of the two.
Katrina, I'm sorry about that. Your husband died last year. I didn't know that. So her son's all she has. Sorry to hear that. I hope he comes home soon to you. Hey, Jonathan, did you guys have chicken bandits in the kitchen? So we had guys, they would literally take the chicken on Thursdays, or whatever day they had chicken, and they would stick it all to their chest, and then a guy would come with the shrink wrap, plastic wrap, and wrap it all around their body so they couldn't move, and they would walk out like this, and they'd even get searched sometimes, but I guess the guards didn't care. Did you have the chicken bandits?
Yeah, but they didn't have to hide it. They literally just took it out of the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they would sell chicken for like $1 each. But here's the thing. Like we were allowed to take extras back as long as they were actually extras.
Yeah, leftovers, like leftover extras.
The reason why we made so many extras is because of the staff. Like it's their own fault that we make so many extras, because we have to account for the staff that ask for trays. Like, because so many staff will ask for trays on hamburger day, chicken day, sometimes not really fish day, but on days where there's like good food, the staff will always ask for trays. That's why extras are made. So if they're like, "Oh, like why are you guys making so much?" Well, because of all the freaking staff that come by asking for food. So they can't really get mad at us. What I mean?
We had a guy called the Hamburglar, because so on hamburger day, nobody really steals hamburger patties. I guess you can't microwave frozen hamburger, but this guy stuck them all to his chest, and they were coming out of his shirt and stuff. And it was like his 3rd day on the job, man. And this is when I worked at the ADX, the food service there, where they search you anyways. This guy comes out, and they start patting him, and they told him to lift up his shirt, and all the hamburgers slid down and went all over the pavement. And so he got fired on the spot. He got sent to the hole for 3 days. And when he got out of the hole, he had the nerve to show up for work like he'd still work there. And they told him, "No, the Hamburger doesn't work here anymore." And from that day forward, he was known as the Hamburglar. And just characters. Like, you have any characters like that?
The closest thing to that is this guy who came from who came from like the main facility and worked his way down to the camp. And the way they do hamburgers at the main facility is that they bake them, right? They put them in the oven, right? Because there's so many of them to make. At the camp, they don't do, like, camps do not bake their.
We have they're grilled burgers, right?
They grill their burgers, right? So he came in, and he was like the secondary cook, and then the main cook went to shoe, and then when he became the main cook, he was like, you know what? All these campers are ungrateful. They don't appreciate that they're at a camp. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bake everyone's burgers now. So he would create trays and trays and trays of baked burgers, extra, with a lot of extras too. The staff wouldn't eat them. Like, none of the inmates wanted extras. So he would literally like have trays, like 3-4 trays of extra burgers, and he would just take them all. Like, he would take them all, but he would take a lot of them because he's used to eating baked burgers. And like, all these campers are like, what the fuck happened to our grilled burgers?
That's spoiled.
And it's
do you guys have deep fryers too for the French fries?
Yeah.
We did too. Yeah. Wednesdays was like my favorite day. You know, the fries were usually hot right out of the fryer, and the grilled. Sometimes they'd hand you the burger right off the grill and put it right on your tray.
They use McCain fries. I don't know if they did for yours, but they use brand name fries.
Yeah, we had different brand names. We even had the RB curly fries. It said Arby's on the bag.
The fries were actually really good.
Yeah.
But can you believe that asshole who literally said, you know what? If I didn't have grilled burgers, no one else can have grilled burgers.
Yeah. Well, you know
what he would do for himself? He would take extras, and then he would go and grill individual patties for himself.
Oh, he needs to be sent back. He doesn't deserve to be in the camp.
I know, right?
Well, here's a question for you, John. When you entered camp,
I was in shoe for 20 days. It was bad. It was actually really bad. But at first it was really bad. But then you get like used to being like in the shoe. Like, it's difficult, but solitary confinement isn't as bad as people make it seem. Like, honestly, if I had to be in shoe again for like 10 days, I could do it. Like, it's just like, there's just a certain way to approach it, I guess.
Yeah, Wayne, the shoe is the same for a camper as it is for any prison.
They don't care that you're designated to the camp. Like, they just don't care. They treat you. There are protocols to be followed for people in the shoe, and they'll treat you the same as they treat a maximum security inmate.
Yeah, most camps don't even have a shoe. They send you across the street to whatever facilities over there.
So they send you to the main facility. They'll put you on a bus, and then they'll send you to the main facility. And then when it's time for you to go to the camp, you walk yourself back to camp. Like, they take the handcuffs off you and say, "Oh, well, you're a camper now. You can leave."
Yeah.
Someone from the camp will come and pick you up. Like, the camp assigned driver, the inmate who drives.
Yeah, the town driver. The complex driver, whatever it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, the complex driver is an inmate, and he'll come to the main facility, pick you up, and drive you back to the camp. Yeah. Or you just walk back.
John, it's almost count time. 9:00. That's count time in every prison. Before we wrap up,
10 o'clock count.
It's 9:00 where I was at. But anyways, I probably wanted to wrap it up. But remember, we were talking about some stories the other night on the phone about count time. Do you remember? You got a story to tell these guys? Remember I told you one time this guy snuck out and he covered himself up because he went to the motel to go meet his girlfriend, and they came by and they shook the bed. And remember that stuff like that happens in camps. And you had a story you were going to tell, right? About count time?
So there was this one time during count where this guy literally wasn't in his bunk. He was actually out trying to meet his brother outside because his brother was delivering um he was delivering like a whole bag of like 50 Whoppers, and
These were flame broiled. They weren't baked, right?
no, yeah, and the COs literally missed him. Like they literally countered him, even though he wasn't there, right? And then he was still outside 2 hours later, and he was gonna come back, but then they caught his brother out there with all the Whoppers, and he made it back inside, but then he got sent to SHU the next morning, and I don't know what happened with his brother. Maybe he got charged, but basically they confiscated all the Whoppers. They took down his brother's information. He got sent to SHU. I don't know what's happening with that yet. And then the next day, right, the staff print out flyers that's with the Burger King, like the actual Burger King mascot, and it says, "Can't always have it your way." And as like people are walking to the dining room, like there's like this big poster that says "Can't always have it your way" on the way to the dining hall.
That's another hamburger. The guy in my range, he was funny because he was going to meet his wife, and he was getting like alcohol and cell phones and Popeye's chicken, and they caught him.
Popeyes was another big one.
Yeah. So the thing was, his wife was calling. He left his cell phone with his cellie, and his wife was calling the cellie to see if he was there. And the guards walked by their camp, and they found the cell phone, and they answered, and they were talking to his wife, and they said, "Oh, you don't see me out there? Why don't you turn your headlights on and off 3 times?" And then she did that, and then whoop, they went and got her, and he was still in the field. He tripped or something, or didn't know where the side of the road was because there was no lights. So they caught him, they caught her, and she ended up getting he got 2 more years added to his sentence. He got shipped to a low, and they gave his wife a year sentence, and they caught because she had the bag on the side of the road, anyways. And they did the same thing with the Popeyes chicken. They made a little flyer and stuff, and they yeah. And they called it, they did the same thing. They made fun of it.
Yeah, like they actually love doing that. Like one time we had there was a delivery of like candy, and there were like this big bag of Hershey kisses, and when they did the shakedown the next day, because it got leaked that there was a delivery the night before, they left one single Hershey kiss on the table, and when everyone went back, everyone saw that literally that one Hershey kiss. Wow. Like, oh, they know, but the rest of it disappeared. So they do have a sense of humor.
Yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up, John. It's a work night for me, but Wayne says thanks, John. Thanks, Sean and John, for everything. You guys are a wealth of knowledge. So the stuff we've been talking about, John, and these guys, they don't. Lawyers don't know these stories that we're talking about. Lawyers don't know what goes on in prison, and everybody that's on here, a lot of these guys are facing prison time, that are on my channel. Like we got 11 people watching right now. And at one time, I think there's 32 people that have been on here tonight, and half of them are going to prison. So I know we're letting them know what's going to happen, what it's going to be like, But nobody ever got killed or shanked at the prison. I actually take that back. A couple people died, but it was health reasons, and one guy did get killed in the other building, but he was $10,000 in debt for gambling, and that's all I heard. But normally you're safe in a camp. Would you agree?
Yes, I would agree. Yes.
I mean, unless you get a gambling debt or a drug debt or something, or
my camp there was at the tables where you'd gamble at, there were caps. You could only gamble $10 at a time.
Oh, okay.
Like you can't really get yourself in debt.
We had $100 and $200 buy-in tables, and sometimes the pot was $200-$300, and that was just that one hand. I'd sit there 10 minutes, watch the game, and then I couldn't stand it. I'd keep walking. I couldn't watch these guys just gamble away hundreds of dollars every night. I don't know how they did it.
Yeah, I think the staff at where I was at tolerated it because because the buy-ins were so low that no one could you
Go
could pay off your debt with your prison job. So it's not but it might not be like that for other places. But that's also a rule violation. So
oh yeah.
gamble.
I mean, they can bust you for having a piece of paper with numbers and stuff on it. Your football pool cards and all that stuff. Hey, Neto, how you doing? Yeah, you can get caught, gambling papers or anything like that if they want to, All right, John. Let's call it a night. I want to thank you for coming on, John, and hang in there, John. Man, it's gonna be all right. Like I was telling you earlier, man. Take some me time. You've been through hell. You've been through pretrial, prison, halfway house. You need some time for yourself. Don't work too hard. Don't let the job stress you down, and don't forget, take a day and just do nothing, man. You've had a rough last few years, man. You know what I mean? Take it easy. You've earned the right to have me time. You know what I mean? Don't forget that, man. You come a long way since when you first called me. Scared to go to prison.
I really appreciate that, Sean. Thank you so much.
You used to call me at 3 a.m. Do you think I'm going to get 10? Do you think I'm going to get probation? Do you think I'm going to get 2 years? You were so worried, and look, you got through it all, Jonathan. You got through it all, man. I'm still there. I told you I'll be there with you the whole time through. And, here I am. So you're doing well. You're doing very good, my friend. I want you to know I'm proud of you. You made it through this, and now you can help. Now you're helping other people tonight. There you go. Did you ever think you'd help other people?
I honestly didn't think that any of this would happen. I honestly, this is still a shock to me that everything that's happened did happen.
Yeah, well, now you got stories to tell for the rest of your life.
And I really do appreciate this opportunity. And for those, is there anyone that's going to be surrendering anytime soon?
I think Neto, don't you have to surrender? And Wayne, TJ's on here. He's coming. He's waiting for sentencing. But those guys are, yeah.
Well, if we don't, I mean, is it soon? I mean, if there's any other questions, I know we kind of cut it short today, but I am definitely going to be on for future shows.
All right, great, man, great. Yeah, if you want to come on next week, we'll pick a day. Tuesday nights I'm free, like tonight. If you got next Tuesday night free?
Yeah, I do actually. I'm off every Tuesday, so
let's do Tuesday night. Maybe we'll go an hour earlier or something. We'll get more people.
All right, sounds good.
We got 15 people on here now, and that's good. Yeah, you're welcome, Katrina. All right, John. Thank you, man. Thank you, guys. Subscribe, like, hit the share button, watch the commercials all the way through. You know the drill. Thanks for watching Federal Prison Talk.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. Thanks again, Jonathan.